Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the big match preview, the Champions League special. I think it's nice, we said before we went live, to talk about something a little bit different to Premier League football. And we're back again. Champions League is up. It's the big one. It is PSG versus Newcastle United on Wednesday evening, and we're going to get down to it all. But first of all, boys, how are you since yesterday? Have we moved on? Are we fully focused on the Champions League now? How are we feeling? Daz?
I've totally forgotten about it, Pete. Not. No. Well, it's a nice distraction. Look at because we know we're into the next round, so the knockout round, whatever, at the very least. Whether we make the top 8 or not remains to be seen. That's what it's all about on Wednesday night. But at least we don't have to worry about the Premier League for a little while and think about then. Because after this, it's Liverpool, and then it's the Carabao Cup second leg miracle game. So yeah, we must enjoy this one while we can. Chris, how are you?
All right, mate. I can't lie. I'm still absolutely wounded from the weekends. I'm still a little bit in disbelief. Although hearing that Champions League music was nice. It was a nice distraction, reminding me that we are in a Champions League campaign. So that was good. I am really looking forward to the game on Wednesday. Not quite sure what to expect. Not quite sure how we're going to line up, being honest. But yeah, it's nice to move away from Premier League football, even if it's just for a couple of nights. So I'm happy with that. How are you doing, Pete? How are you, fella?
Yeah, not too bad. I always kind of just say what I need to say about the game and then move on. My mind's fully focused on the two games to come this week: PSG on Wednesday and Liverpool at the weekend. And look. We'll get down to it with the talk around the Champions League because it's massive. There's so many possibilities with this game and the games around it. And we're going to do what we always do. We get the opposition's view, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome back TalkSport's own and PSG fan, Lee Davey. So let's welcome in Lee.
Welcome back, the big brother. Welcome back, Lee.
Oh, how are you doing? You're okay?
Yep.
All good.
Hi, guys. Nice to see you all again.
Definitely. But look, it's great to have you back on to talk all things Champions League, PSG, the big game on Wednesday. But look, just how are things with PSG this season? I'll just get straight into it because obviously Champions League winners, they are the current holders of this competition, so it doesn't get any easier for Newcastle United. But just in what shape are PSG right now, in your opinion?
Tired is probably the best word I can get. And it's been very much like that all season. This is a team that are playing they've got nothing in the tank, guys. As it stands right now, they are on a run of 5 straight league wins. They've just gone back to the top of the table. They haven't been top of the table since I believe it was late November when Lens took over at the top of the table. So they've been off the top for a good couple of months. So that's kind of a measure how things are going. They were dumped out of the French Cup by Paris FC. That was about 3 weeks ago. So it's just a Champions League and Ligue 1 to fight for now. This is a tired team. This is a team that have had 2 weeks break in the summer after a historic season and then getting to the final of the Club World Cup. They've had 2 weeks break. On the third week, even though they were officially off, they were given a set training plan that they had to do at home. So they had 3 weeks off altogether, but only 2 of full rest. Within 5 days of returning to training, they were playing the Super Cup game against Tottenham. So they've literally had next to nothing. But it's not, when I say tired, it's not just about the physical tiredness, it's the mental tiredness that you can see in this team now. I think the most ardent PSG fan would be honest with you and say, look, they're not going to go back to back and win this again. And PSG fans would be okay with that. They've just had a historic season, they've won 6 trophies. But, they certainly won't want to give up their trophy without a fight. And, tomorrow is a really, really important game for the club. But, make no mistake about it, this is a really important game. And getting in that top 8, like saying for Newcastle, is super important to PSG. Why? Well, It's 2 less games. It's 2 less games that this team doesn't have in their legs. When they got knocked out of the French Cup a few weeks ago, Luis Enrique, the first thing he said in his press conference was, "Well, that's 4 games we don't have to play in the French Cup." It was almost like a relief for them to go out of the French Cup. I've never heard that before. And now we're saying, if we get through and get in the top 8, it's another 2 games. That's 6 less games. So now it's about load management massively between now and the end of the season. It's one of those things. I know Newcastle looked pretty tired towards the end of yesterday's game as well. Everyone's shattered. So it's who can dig deep, I think, will be an interesting one tomorrow.
Absolutely. And look, well, the one thing I will say, and people in the chat might not know this, but in France, they always tend to look after their top teams in the Champions League, because I was there chilling on Friday night and I looked up and I thought, oh, that's interesting. And it's Auxerre against PSG on a Friday night, and they give them that game so they get a nice long rest up until then. They do it. They do it historically. They do that, don't they? And obviously they won against Auxerre. It was 1-0 in the end. Was the result? I think I've got the picture here.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
The time, but yeah, they won 1-0. Did they rest many players? Is the question.
Yeah, they did. Well, I think it's a really valid point to bring up there, Pete, in terms of the structuring PSG's week. They played Sporting, as you know, last Tuesday. They got beat late on against Sporting, dominated the game, and just really poor defensive lapses cost them anything from that match. They played Tuesday. It was actually PSG's choice to play Friday. They went to the French league and said, can we play 3 days later? Can we have the Friday night game? They wanted a run of 5 days before playing Newcastle. Okay, then this was planned. This even before the Sporting game, before there was anything potentially, any jeopardy on this game. Because if they'd have beaten Sporting, they'd have put their place in the top 8. Doesn't matter. But I think that, they wanted to anticipate that this would be something, there'll be something riding on this game. So this was agreed at the start of the year with the French Football Federation. They said, yes, no problem. You can play your Friday night game. When we talk about nuances, Friday night games are played at 9 o'clock at night in France. They played it at an hour earlier, even down to the minutest hour. They wanted to bring it forward an hour, just to give that even extra time, that extra recovery. So that is the point I'm making here, is PSG are taking this game very, very seriously. They know the threat of Newcastle, been there before, haven't beaten Newcastle. Those 2 games there a couple of years ago, that's still etched in the minds of PSG. They know they're going to find this is going to be a real battle, and the intensity and the pressing that comes from this Newcastle team, and the threats as well, the real threats, particularly on the wings and in midfield. It's this is one that they're not taking lightly, and even PSG fans, can I just say, I think they're still scarred by St James's Park back in, what was it, 2023, I think it was. So there's still a bit of scar in there, gents. So this has been taken very, very, very seriously.
But boys, what do you make of that? Obviously, PSG, they won. Lee's touched on they lost in that last game in the Champions League against Sporting. They've had that game brought forward. Lee said, they're taking it seriously. Daz, this is not what we wanted to hear going into Wednesday.
Not what we wanted to hear at all. I remember we were on a show that night that Sporting PSG game was on, because we were talking about what game we were going to watch, and I said I'm watching the Sporting PSG game. So I watched a bit of that game, and I remember I didn't watch it all because the bit I watched is PSG scored, but the goal was disallowed. But PSG, Lee's right. They were all over Sporting Lisbon, and I said, "Okay, I can walk away from this. They're going to win this." I couldn't believe to see the result then that they had lost. But and I was there. Now that this is going to come back to bite us, obviously now, because they're going to be up for it. So it's going to be an interesting game.
Actually, Daz. Sorry to interrupt there. Pete, tell Daz, because me and Pete were texting during that game. Tell Daz what I texted you. What's going to happen in this match?
So I was with Daz. I was with
Oh,
you.
you was with him at the time.
Not with Dad.
He was online.
I was with him in that line because I was saying to you, weren't I? I was like, you got this nailed up, and I was almost like, wrap it up and rest your players on Wednesday. I was not saying it to him, so we were the same lines, Dad. And Lee came back and went, "We're gonna lose this. I'm telling you now, we're losing this game." This was in the first half, like early on in the first half. Lee was like, "I'm telling you now, we are losing this game. What's going to happen is there's going to be a late goal, and Sporting are going to win." And I was like, "Nah, get lost." And when it happened, I don't even think we messaged after that. I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But you spotted it from a mile away.
Yeah, I've been watching the team for far too long. I usually know what the outcome's going to be a lot of the time. But yeah, I think it was like 28 attempts on goal, and a lot of you go through spells where they're very wasteful, create a lot of chances. You remember that game against Newcastle at the Parc des Princes, and and PSG just they were very dominant, even though within that game, and then thought Newcastle defended fantastically well that night, by the way, and we were unlucky obviously with the dodgy penalty. We were lucky not to win that night. But I mean, PSG can be they were wasteful against Auxerre on Friday night. It was something I think it was like the 10 minutes from time. Barcola got the winner again, super wasteful, and they've got to change that because they go through spells like earlier in the season where they played Leverkusen, beat them 7-2 at Leverkusen, and that's a tough place to go. Newcastle have been there this season. It's not easy to go and win, away in Germany, but they won 7-2 and. They're capable when they're on form and when they want to be prolific, they can tear any club apart. But they can be so wasteful and frustrating as well at times. And that was the case against Sporting. But just to go back to an earlier point, Pete, you asked me if PSG had rested any players on Friday night. Yes, they did. Sorry to miss your point. They did. They rested a lot of players. So, firstly, there was João Neves, who's missed the last 2 games. He's back for Wednesday night. They've missed. He's there. He's the heartbeat in the engine. So he's back in the squad. He came through training today. Fabian Ruiz, who had a brilliant season last season, he's done okay this season. It looks a bit tired, but again, he missed the last game. He's back. He limped off against Sporting with a knock to his knee. He missed Auxerre game. He's back. He's fit. He's in training. So he's good to go. Nuno Mendes missed Friday night. He's back as well. And Ashraf Hakimi, who hasn't played since early November, he got injured. Remember that challenge by Luis Diaz, who kind of did his ankle ligaments. Yeah. He's back in the squad for the first time. So he's back because obviously he's been at AFCON. But he's back in the squad as well. So the only real players that'll probably be missing is Lee Kang-in, who's got an injury, Safanov, the goalkeeper, who fractured his hand in the Intercontinental Cup final, saving penalties. So it's just and a young lad, Kontan Njantu, is just one of the young lads that are broken this season. So it's a pretty full strength side. Certainly plenty to pick from for Luis Enrique.
Chris, what are we going to do, man? What are we going to do? I looked at Transfermarkt earlier because I was having to, it was crazy, actually, Chris, because I was going through the tactics board. I was looking at PSG's squad from the last time we did this show, and it's like I had to delete pretty much half of the squad because the squad made so at that time. And I looked at Transfermarkt and I had a little jink of hope when I saw that it had the injured mark next to João Neves, and now Lee tells us he's back in training. Mate, what are we going to do? Seriously, man, hearing all that, what's going to happen?
God only knows, mate. I mean, even the fullbacks is bad enough, and we were only talking on the last show, weren't we, saying how integral fullbacks are these days. They set the press. They're very high up the pitch, cause all kinds of problems. And when you're talking about Mendes and Hakimi, arguably two of the best fullbacks in the world, if not Europe. So yeah, that's not good. And then obviously João Neves. When Lee started talking about João Neves, I'm thinking, he's not playing. Then he said he's back in the squad. It's just like, yeah, it's gonna be an uphill battle. And we haven't even got to the front three. We haven't even started talking about the front three yet. it's going to be one hell of a battle, isn't it? It really, really is. And I'll be honest, boys. As I said this just before we went live, like thinking about the lineup and stuff. Like I hearing Lee there talk about that, and knowing that obviously PSG didn't get that win against Sporting, which really hurt because we were all open, weren't we? And Lee, you probably heard Pete talk about this. We've been saying for the last few weeks and months, we want PSG to get wrapped up. We saw this game, and we saw it was at the Parc des Princes last game in the group stages. Let's hope PSG are all wrapped up, and then obviously that loss against Sport, and it was like, oh no, they need to win. So they're going to be bang up for it. And I'm now thinking, looking at the Liverpool game at the weekends. I know you look at your first game, the next game, but I'm almost like, do we just start waving the white flag? I mean, we've got our qualification. We know. Sophie will correct me now. We've got our opportunity to qualify through the knockouts, so that place is secured. And I'm just thinking it's going to be an uphill battle on Wednesday. Lee's right in terms of in recent times. Obviously, we had the big win 4-1 at St James's Park. We then went to Parc des Princes and we were unlucky to finish 1-1. As Lee said, lots and lots of chances from PSG, but in the end, it was a bit of a sceptical penalty, should we say, Lee? Which ended up costing us.
Yeah, it was absolutely was. Yeah.
I don't know, Pete, but hearing all those players, and like I say, we didn't even talk about the front players. It's gonna be a tough night. It's gonna be really tough. But this is why we're here. We're here to play tough games. It's what we want.
It's it. The thing about it, Chris, is even like two of the front three that I expect to play tomorrow were rested as well on Friday night. So Dembele and Doué were both only came on for, I think, the last 15 minutes. So they're well rested as well. I think it was only Kvaratskhelia who started out the front three on Friday night. So they should be well rested. You'd expect that. But it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. You've got to turn up and you've got to deliver on the day. And that's what they haven't done in the last two Champions League games. They haven't delivered against Sporting, although they played very well, loaded the ball, created some great chances, just couldn't put it away. And they were very substandard against Athletic Club back in December. I thought, poor, that was a 0-0 draw. If I go back to probably midway through this league phase, I would have looked at this game and thought, yeah, this is going to be a dead rubber. PSG are cruising. You've beaten Barcelona away. You've beaten Leverkusen 7-2. You've got enough in the tank with the games left to wrap this up and get in the top 8. But they've kind of thrown it away the last two games. They took 1 point from a possible 6, and now they put themselves in jeopardy with with 7 other teams that are all locked up on 13 points. Should never have been in this position. Never have been in this position. And you was talking, Chris, there about in terms of getting PSG getting this wrapped up so that nobody was kind of needing to get points from this game. It was almost kind of like a bit of a free shot. But it is what it is. There's plenty of jeopardy left now on this night. This is what UEFA want. UEFA will be loving this.
Oh, yeah.
Right? This is completely justifies their reason to revamp this and to modify it into a kind of a Super League and and there's people that are still skeptical about this format. But this is what they wanted. They wanted that final match day jeopardy. They're going to get it. But it should be a great game. It should be a great game that Newcastle are going to go for it and PSG are going to go for it. So it should be a really fun game, gents.
Just before we sort of get onto the game, let's. Well, people in the chat probably don't want to talk about this right now, but let's talk a little bit about Newcastle. I want to get your thoughts on Newcastle, Lee. Obviously, I know you might have caught a few of the games recently. Obviously, we lost yesterday at home to Aston Villa. Wasn't the worst performance in the world, but certainly was nowhere near the best performance, and Aston Villa were deserving of the win. Speaking to other PSG fans, and obviously, from a PSG perspective, you're clearly taking confidence in that we're not all firing like we were last season.
Yeah, I think there's a confidence there. I think certainly from what I've read and the people I spoke to, I think there's a confidence that PSG will get the job done on Wednesday night. I thought that a couple of years ago, so I'm not counting my chickens at all, just purely because, and I've said to you a few times, no matter what form they're in, this Newcastle side are horrible horrible to play against. They are so well drilled, right? And okay, results haven't gone, they've not gone their way recently, and the league table doesn't look good. But in the Champions League, this team elevates itself. It's like it's made for Champions League football. I remember coming on your show, oh God, this would have been before Christmas, and I said to you, and I meant it, and I'm going to stick by it, that Newcastle could be the Premier League team that goes the furthest in the Champions League, honestly. Just because there is something that just comes alive. And any team facing Newcastle in the knockout rounds, if you get that second leg at St. James's Park, my goodness, I fancy you against anyone. Take the league form away right now, okay? I know it's hard to do that, but take the league form away. This team is tough to play against, really, really tough. And with that crowd, Newcastle really got something there, especially on the European stage. And of course, the disappointing thing is that you want to be back there again next season. It's where you feel you belong in this competition. You want to be back there next season. And to do that, you've got to do that through the league. You have to. So it's frustrating because it's very up and down. Some of these performances are very up and down. I just see just a real energy in Europe and then a flatness sometimes in the Premier League. And as fans, you can't get your heads around it. And then there's people calling for how to go. And then, 1 minute you want him to go. And then some that want to stick with him. And there's a little bit of, chewing and from in between supporters. I've been reading and watching. So I do watch from a distance and see what the general consensus is. I feel like you guys need to protect your fullbacks and Lewis Hall being one of them. He is super key. Okay, Livramento's not in. You're going to have to play Trippier. I'm assuming you'll play Trippier at right back because I don't think there's too many other options. But Lewis Hall is key, guys, for you. He is so key. You've got to protect him at all costs. But in terms of the way you just from the way he attacks, the way he's kind of pivotal to the way you move forwards. He is. If you lose him or he gets injured, I think that's going to be a real hit for Newcastle. In terms of PSG, I did see something in the French press that are lauding the possibility of Bruno and Joe Linton both not being fit. And they're kind of hinging on that. These guys might not be fit. Tonali came off late. I don't expect Tonali to play, to be honest with you.
Wasn't injured.
I've seen that, but he didn't look injured to me. But I think they're just kind of seeing what wins they can get out of it. But there is a general, hope that particularly Bruno Guimaraes isn't fit because Newcastle are a distant team without him. You guys would tell you what you guys already know. You're a different team without him. But Joe Linton, that kind of that aggressive, that energy and that aggression in midfield again is something that will be missed. So I think there's a hope those two won't play. And I think there'll be a lot more optimism if they don't show up for that game.
Boys, I'll come to you on that one. It's a good sort of conversation. Obviously, Bruno Guimaraes, we don't know what the situation is. Eddie Howe sounded more positive after the game yesterday that he had a chance to be back in for this game on Wednesday night. That was what I took from it, certainly, from what he said. Joe Linton obviously went down 48th minute, groin injury again. It was a problem just before Christmas that he'd only just come back from. He's gone down again. Do you see either of them getting back, Daz, before Wednesday? Do you see either of them being available for this game?
Joe Linton, no. I think Joe Linton will be out. But Bruno, I do. I think Bruno will be starting. I don't want to jump ahead to the team selection. Chris will kill me. But I think Bruno will play. I won't go the full team yet, Chris. But and we need him. I agree with you. We're kind of screwed if he's not there.
Sorry, Jen, can I just ask you that? Can I ask you that very quickly? Do you risk him if let's say he's 75% fit? Do you risk him knowing that you've got Liverpool? Is it Liverpool you've got the weekend? It's Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously then you've got your Carabao Cup second leg. Is it worth risking him for this game?
I was going to ask Chris. That.
Yeah,
You know what? I'm going to shut. I'm going to shut up now because I'm being.
No.
This is your
Yeah.
show. This is not my show.
No. This is
Great
the show.
question.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Pete, go
It's
make
like
a cup of tea,
Within a
Pete.
minute, I'm coming robbing your questions from you.
No, this is it. No, this is the whole point of what we do. We're just sitting together having a chat about football. This is why we love it.
Get the kettle on, Pete. Which one do you pick? Do you pick getting top 8 in the Champions League and having 2 less games? Do you pick getting taking on Liverpool in the state that they're in recently? We've never beaten them at Anfield for ages. Or the miracle that we'd need to try and get into the Carabao Cup final as holders. So which one do you pick? I don't think you can. I think he didn't play against Villa. He wasn't right. That was the time to give him a chance to recover. Now he has to go in all 3, I'm afraid, for me.
What about you, Chris? I'm going to add the added caveat to this that obviously you've got a lot of red mates in your chat. You're desperate to shut them up Saturday night. Does that add to maybe your thinking with regards to Bruno and whether you risk him tomorrow? Oh, sorry, not tomorrow, Wednesday.
Do you know what, Pete? I flip-flopped so much on this. I mean, when we spoke about it, was it last week when we were on a show? And I was almost like, throwing the towel in terms of the PSG game. I was like, do you know what? Let's just be happy that we're in that top 24. Let's just take it. Let's just move on. And then Lee going on before about all the players that are back and fit and firing and, we've been rested. But then, the other part of me does think, and I've said this so many times this season in terms of kickstarting your season, if we were to go the Parc des Princes and go and get the win and finish in that top 8, not only do we save ourselves 2 games as we've already all highlighted, but it gives this squad a little bit of belief. I think for me, without giving away too much, I think it's about, and maybe this is dodgy, I think it's about experimenting. I think it's about experimenting and trying something new and going to the Parc des Princes with a plan specifically for that game, and hopefully we stumble across something. In terms of Bruno Guimaraes, I feel like he's got to play. I really, really do. I feel like you just bandage him up and just get him on the pitch, because even a 70-80% Bruno Guimaraes, he's going to give you everything. He's going to give you absolutely everything, and he's going to drive that team. Maybe I would have felt a bit different if we'd have picked up that win against Villa. Maybe if we were sitting now in 5th or 6th, I'd be going, oh, we've got Liverpool, big game. But I suppose, because I feel like the league's slipping away from us, I'm almost like, do we throw our eggs in this Champions League basket for now, so that then we can focus on it, knowing that we're going to miss, having to play 2 qualifying rounds to get through to the last 16. So it's so hard, though. It's so hard.
Sometimes it's about presence, isn't it? Just having a presence of somebody. He's so influential, isn't he, Bruno? And his presence can just lift those players around him. Even if he can't give his all and he can't be the Bruno that we know and love and bring those top-notch performances, that presence can lift Tonali. It can lift, those players in front of him. He just... his passing, his movement, you look at the way he galvanizes his team. That's priceless. That's priceless stuff. And just to mention your friends down the road at Sunderland, they've gone through the same thing. You could see the difference between them when they've got Granit Xhaka and when they've not got Granit Xhaka. The chalk and cheese, guys. Honestly, it's chalk and cheese. They are absolutely a completely different team without Xhaka in it. And this is what these players can offer. They offer so much more than just their wizardry on the pitch, but in terms of, as I said, I use the word again, to galvanise that. They offer so much more just having their presence on the pitch. So, maybe you're right, Chris. Maybe just having him there can just lift that team.
I'm going to ask Pete a question now. Pete, you can win one of the 3. You can either beat PSG to get top 8, you can beat Liverpool at Anfield, or you can beat Man City enough to get through and into the Carabao Cup final. You can only pick one. Which you kicking?
What a question.
Ooh. I'm probably going to go Man City. If you're throwing in the Carabao Cup, if it's enough to go through to a final, I'm taking the final all day long, because I'll be honest with you, lad, I think a one-off game, I think we can beat Arsenal. I think we can beat Chelsea.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you'd put it down to the two, PSG or Liverpool, that's a little bit tougher, because then it's an even tougher one because of the conversation we've just had. Do we take the win at PSG and not have those extra 2 games in Feb, or do we beat those? Do we beat those guys that are
beating them at Anfield? That would just be
after the summer.
He's not in the stands.
Oh my God! Just the thought of beating them on Saturday. If we were to get that win, that would just be unbelievable. It really would. But yeah, that would have been a harder conversation. So we'll sidestep those two. We'll go with Sydney.
That's the right answer.
Can we do a poll, Daz? I'd love to hear what the viewers think of that one. That's a great question. Would you pick Liverpool, City, and obviously get into the final, or PSG? Such a tough one.
Paul income.
And whilst people are there, make sure we're clicking the likes, people. I know the mods are telling you to do so in the chat. Get those likes up. Thank you for watching, whether you're on X or whether you're on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in and watching the show. Just while that poll's going up, just wary of time, I want to make sure we get enough time on the tactics board. But we do have a few questions for Lee. So do you want to fire a couple of questions at him before we go to the tactics board?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the most important question that's in here for Lee from Friday, which one of you is taller? Is it Pete or is it you, Lee?
I actually don't know. Are we about the same?
Yeah, I think we're both about 6 foot, aren't we? We are. We're both about 6 foot.
Ish.
That's right. That's right. You don't need to say a word, Lee.
You just leave it there.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah.
See, told you.
Love that.
Great question.
Lee, we've had a lot of people in the chat tonight talking about Lucas Chevalier. Did I say it then? Lucas Chevalier. Chevalier. What are your thoughts on him, mate? And he's been making a lot of mistakes, DXLE says.
Yeah, it's been a tough start for him. So listen, anyone following Gianluigi Donnarumma, who single-handedly kept PSG, on the road to the Champions League. You think about that game back at Villa, which you accompanied me to, Pete, very kindly last season. The penalty saves at Anfield, which was very, very pleasing. You try and follow anybody who's on that level, who's got that status now, that legendary status at the club, as being one of the players that won the Champions League, then it's always going to be difficult. So he came in, he had a good reputation at Lille for being a good shot stopper, but there's one or two kind of flaws in his game, one of them being parrying the ball out into really pretty terrible positions, rather than, catching, as our goalkeepers in the Premier League much prefer to do. And you might remember his first game, Super Cup against Tottenham, where he made a couple of really awful errors. If not, go and check him out, and you'll know what I'm talking about. He's since gone on to not do so good. There's been quite a few issues. He's not really endeared himself to the fans as well. He accidentally, just to take things away from football, slightly accidentally tapped on a post for a particular political party in France that is not a very well-liked one, and said he accidentally clicked like on it, etc. That's not helped him not at a club like PSG anyway. It's not helped endear him to the club's support. They are behind him, they are backing him. He again made mistakes against Sporting. He made 2 mistakes for Sporting's goals last week. Fans are not overly happy with him. There is a nervousness around him. Marquinhos, he's been reported in L'Equipe. Marquinhos, the captain, has been rallying around certainly the players to help bed him in a little bit more. It's been a tough start for him. On the back of that, Matvey Safanov, who's the second goalkeeper, came in and did he was amazing in the Intercontinental Cup final. I think he saved 4 penalties out of 5. It was incredible. So he's been great. But then he got injured, thought he'd got the number 1 spot off him. He broke his hand saving a penalty, so he's been out ever since. It's all been a little bit crazy, but it's not gone well, is the answer. It hasn't gone well. And if I'm... listen, if I'm Newcastle, I'm banging them balls in. Them high balls, I'm getting Nick Voltemada on there with 20 minutes to go, potentially, right, whether he starts or not. I'm getting him in there and I'm getting him roughing him up because he is a little bit shaky, to say the least. That is certainly an area that Newcastle can exploit.
Yeah. Interesting. He was a goalkeeper we were looking at, weren't we, boys, over the summer?
He's a good shot stopper. Chris. He's good. He's good at there's elements of his game great with his feet. Hence why Luis Enrique brought him in, better than Donnarumma with his feet. So that element is really good. But it seems to not be quite a belief there yet. You know, that step up from Lille to go to the European champions just seems like it's a bit too steep at the moment. Can he be a great keeper? Yes. Will he be France's number 1 in the next couple of years? Yes, he will, after Mike Maignan. But he needs to step up and quick.
Yeah, interesting. I love this question from David Tofield Lee, and he says, if we park the bus, will PSG fans turn or will they stay with the team? I'm just thinking if Newcastle play 5 at the back.
No. If there's one thing that PSG fans don't do, they won't turn during the game. They just don't. But with ultras, it's 100% that they give. They could be 3-0 down and they'll keep singing and supporting the team. If they're not happy, they'll whistle it at the end of the game. You won't hear those frustrations during the game. That's just not kind of the culture over there. The culture is to sing for 90 minutes, play your part. Whereas in England, you'll see that frustration creeping in. You'll hear it from the crowds. It transcends to the pitch. It's not like that at PSG and quite a few grounds in France. PSG are used to teams parking the bus anyway. So they're used to that. So they've had to find ways of I guess, breaking that down. And they weren't very good at it when a couple of seasons ago. They've certainly last season they found ways around that. But no, parking the buses is something very happens quite regularly at PSG. So they're very much used to it.
Yeah, that makes sense. You mentioned this player earlier, Lee, Kang-in Lee.
Oh yes,
or Lee Kang-in. He's exactly the type of right wing Newcastle needs. Is he available for transfer? I know you said that he's going to be out on Wednesday, but is he someone that's still for transfer?
I think in the summer. I think in the summer there's a possibility. Atletico Madrid over the past week have shown their interest in him. He potentially could go back to Spain. He speaks Spanish. He came from Real Mallorca. He speaks a very good level of Spanish. I think he felt quite at home in Spain. He's been better this season. He's been given more of a chance. He didn't have a great season last season. He was quite poor. But this season, when he's been given opportunities, he's actually done pretty well. I don't see his long-term future at PSG. I think there's a chance that he could go in the summer. And PSG will reinvest that money. But he's a really good player. He's current Asian Player of the Year. And very, very highly thought of, and he's technically good, got a good shot on him. He's energetic. He's pretty good on the ball technically. So I think he would be great for the Premier League, a really great fit for the Premier League. It would be a case of, I guess, outbidding offers that will come from Spain. So ultimately, I think an offer will come from Spain this summer. But yeah, he'd absolutely add to Newcastle without a doubt. He's a great player. He's a really good player. He can definitely add something. So yeah, it's a shame he's not. You could get a closer look at him. It's a shame he won't be available tomorrow because he's aesthetically pleasing and someone that is always quite enjoyable. Well, certainly this season has been quite enjoyable to watch actually.
Yeah,
interesting.
Big shout out to DXLE, who's just become a Lewis Ultra. So thank you very much, DXLE, for joining us on this journey. And DXLE has a question for you, Lee, and he asks you, what will PSG do with Zaire Emery? He was the next big superstar a few seasons ago, but didn't quite kick on. Can't get into that midfield and maybe back on the bench now Hakimi is back. What are your thoughts on Zaire Emery?
That's a brilliant question, actually. I'll just give you a little bit of insight into Warren Zaire-Emery. He was kind of like the next coming. He was uh, the bridge. When the Galacticos era ended and Neymar left and Messi left. Um, everybody at the club basically put all of their trust in Zaire Emery because for far too long the club had not been, bringing their youth players through, and the Paris region is just a hotbed of young talent that's gone on to be successful all over the world, really. And PSG were letting these slide, this young talent slide. So they brought him through. His first couple of seasons were very, very good. Last season was really poor, and you could see he was frustrated. He was on the bench a lot, and especially in the season where he just couldn't get in that midfield. When Fabio Ruiz was immense, Vitinha and João Neves. What more can you say? They were three guys that worked in tandem and led PSG to the Champions League. I mean, that was always the issue with him, is that it's not that he's not good enough. It's more of a sense of, right, you've got these three guys that are the perfect midfield pairing, and you're going to have to just wait your turn. This season, he's played an awful lot, Zaire Emery, and that's because he has taken over from Hakimi at right back, while Hakimi's been injured for the last, he'll be injured for nearly 2.5 months now. He's been out. So he has played right back. He has been, in a nutshell, he's been PSG's best player this season, Warren Zaire Emery, and he's been playing out of position. It also helps that there's been a lot of rotation in this team through a lot of injuries, and also trying to keep this team fresh. So he's been a real key player. He is one of the probably 2 or 3 players that has been head and shoulders above everybody else in this team this season. Hakimi will be, obviously Hakimi's coming back. I still think Warren will have a big part to play, but I think he'll slot more into the midfield area. But he'll also come to right. He'll play it right back. He's proved to be a great makeshift right back. So he'll play right back just to give Hakimi a bit of a rest and not, as and when certain fixtures he'll play there. But he's got a massive part to play, and his form has been superb. So hopefully, like you said, he was the next big superstar. Hopefully, he still can be.
Reminds me a little bit of Miley. Is that what you're going to say?
They haven't seen the same time.
Yeah. Exactly the same.
Exactly, because Miley played right back as well, didn't he, recently as well? So yeah,
and been great. Yeah.
So it seems like they're having like mirror image seasons. They've come in and, like I say, filled in right back. Because I looked at your squad and you've only got one right back, and that makes sense now that Warren Zaire-Emery is filling in there.
Well, they had Nordi Mukiele. They had Nordi Mukiele, but just Luis Enrique didn't fancy him. I don't know whether it's off the pitch stuff or just didn't like his style didn't fit the club, but they offloaded him for pretty cheap. Just to have one fullback, just have one right back in Hakimi. So, yeah.
Interesting.
How much did Sunderland pay for Mukiele? Wasn't much, was it?
It wasn't a lot. It weren't. I don't think it was much over 10 million.
No. And he's done well for them this season.
He's a good player. He's a good player. Yeah.
He has done well, to be fair. But he chose to go to the dark side. We'll let him do what he needs to do. But look, we'll come to the tactics board just because we're getting to that point now in the day. So let me just get screen on. I don't know if can you see that?
Yes. Just loading. Yeah, it's up, mate. It's up.
Lovely. Okay, so we've got the PSG team there. Just need to make one little minor change with the goalkeeper. What colour kit do the goalkeeper wear?
Green.
Just that green.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. Let's make some changes as we go along. What did it say? There we go. Right. Do you want to just pick your 11, Lee? If you pick your 11 and position, just let me know where they are. Formation.
So obviously in goal will be Lucas Chevalier. So he'll go there. There we go. So then we will go at right back. I'm going to go Warren Zaire-Emery and not Hakimi.
Oh, okay.
With Warren Zaire-Emery, yeah, he's fitter. Hakimi's just coming back off from AFCON. Obviously, he was the poster boy for Morocco, and they lost the final. So he will come back into the squad. But I think for a game like this, he's still very downtrodden about how the final went. I think he'll start from the bench. So Zaire Emery will play right back. Next to him will be Marquinhos in centre back, captain Marquinhos.
I know his future was in doubt. His future was in doubt about a year ago. People were questioning
Marquinhos.
Yeah,
is that Marquinhos? Yeah, I think this will be his final season. This will be his final season at the club. Yeah, and then next to him will be William Pacho.
Very good defender, brilliant.
Yeah, him and Zaire Emery have been the best 2 players this season. At left back, nice easy one to be Nuno Mendes.
One of the best in the business.
Yeah. In midfield, on the right side of midfield, we'll put Fabian Ruiz.
Okay. Right of the centre.
We'll go right of the centre. Yeah. In the middle there will be Vitinha. Just to the left of him will be Charles Neves.
But we normally draw lads over Denari, Bruno, and Joe Linton, and they've got these 3 boys to.
To be honest, but with Bruno, there's a lot of PSG fans that hold a lot of affection for Bruno, a lot. Seriously, and I know Luis Enrique is a big fan as well. So yeah,
don't start.
No, I'm not starting nothing. But
Enrique might see him in the summer.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that Fabian Ruiz is 29 now, and we could do with a little bit more energy in there. Anyway, moving forwards on the left, I'm going to go Kvaratskhelia. I'm going to go for him. I'll go him. Barcola on the bench. In the middle, I'll go Dembele.
Where is he?
There he is. And over on the right, we'll go Desiree Doué.
I know, just that feeling of dread with those 3 players.
They've got to perform, gents. They've got to perform. Honestly, this is a similar team that went out that played against Sporting last week and literally couldn't finish. They've got to perform, and if they don't perform, they don't score. Then Newcastle have got the weapons. They've got the weapons to punish them. Simple as that.
I just wanted to ask you really quickly, just on Goncalo Ramos. Obviously, there were some tentative links in the summer with Newcastle when we were looking for a striker. How has he got on this season? And could this be the summer that he moves on potentially?
Yeah, top scorer at the club this season, believe it or not, from the bench. Top scorer at the club. I like him. The setup isn't right for him. Right, the way PSG play doesn't fit him. Not that he's not on the bench because he's a bad player. The way PSG play just doesn't suit the quintessential number 9. Right, he can't play wide. He doesn't. He is a number 9. He's a box striker, and Luis Enrique doesn't set his teams up to play to the strengths of box striker. You'll see here, looking at the screen, Kvaratskhelia will go to the right, Desiree Doué to go to the left, then Belly will go to the right, Kvaratskhelia might go through the middle. They will just keep interchanging, and obviously a player like Gonzalo Ramos can't do that. It's not his game. His game is to play in the box and to get on the end of crosses, and PSG don't cross a lot of balls, it doesn't happen often. He will go in the summer. Atletico Madrid are interested. I know, again, they're coming hard for PSG players, but I know they're quite interested in him. But in the same way, PSG are interested in Julian Alvarez. So just keep an eye on that one. There could be one going one way and one going the other in the summer. Who knows? But good player, really good player, and too good to be on the bench, in my opinion, but must go to the right football club that will play to his strengths.
I do apologise to Giniesta. I keep saying Goncalo and it's Gonzalo, and I keep pronouncing it wrong. So thank you for keeping me on the straight and narrow, Giniesta. I think you've got one more question before Lee goes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there was a question to come in, and Lee, it's from one of our resident spanners, and it comes from Foxy, and Foxy is one of our experts when it comes to Europe, to the continent. And he asked,
can you hear me, guys? I've got a bit of a sound issue.
Oh, yeah,
We can
yeah.
hear
I
you,
can hear you,
Lee.
mate.
Oh, I've got you back. I couldn't hear anything Pete said then. Everything went off.
Oh, yeah. I was
I
just.
can hear you. I can hear you, Dad. All of a sudden, Pete's sound went off.
Oh, isn't
Can you
that
hear
weird?
me? Can you hear me?
No, can't hear you, Pete. Can you hear Pete, Dad?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear
I can
him.
hear. I can hear everyone.
Yeah.
All the voices.
I can't hear Pete all of a sudden. It's just
How
gone
strange
off.
is that? We've got a question here from Foxy Lee, and he asks, Foxy loves picking out all these players, and he said there's a player, and sorry, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, I know I am, Matthias Detorbe, who's impressing in League
Sorry,
Two.
I've seemed to have lost you. I've seemed to have lost you guys. Let me just come off my earphones. See if that
No
helps.
worries. Is that any better? Can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Lee?
I can hear you, Daz. I can hear you. You're the only one who can hear.
Okay. I'll ask the question.
Go on, Daz. Go on, Daz. Go on.
I think someone's stitching me up here because they know what I'm going to mess up the name. Question for Lee. Matthias Detorbe, impressing in League Two for Troyes. Do you see him getting a big move soon? A lot of talent in League Two, including Yasmin, who has just joined Strasbourg.
I think it would depend really, because just so that everyone knows, the pronunciation is Troyes. So Troyes are top of Ligue 2 at the moment, and I think they're about 4 or 5 points clear. I think they drew at the weekend, but the likelihood is he'll be playing Ligue 1 football next season anyway. But again, due to the finances in French football, a lot of the tendency is to either promote players from your youth system, use your youth system, or to buy from lower league teams and kind of give them a platform before going on and selling them off. So absolutely, when it comes to Ligue 2 talent, they'll get their opportunity in French football without a doubt, especially in the top tier. There's kind of like no conveyor belt, waiting until for a specific time. They get thrown straight into the mix there. So I think whether it's a move or whether it's staying with Troyes, they'll be playing top flight football without a doubt. So absolutely, there's a chance that he could get a move though. Of course, to a Lyon or one of the bigger clubs who wait and develop him. So a Lyon or a Lille or someone like that who often dip into Ligue 2 to try and find these unhidden kind of gems.
Cheers, Lee.
Can you hear us now?
No,
I don't know what's happened and why I can't hear you. He's still on. No.
He says he's not talking to you, Pete.
I can't hear it. Hold on. It's strange. Is it? Why? I don't know. I have no idea what is going on. Can you boys hear me?
Be the translator. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Daz, if you can, because I think Lee's got to shoot now. If you can give me our best and goodbyes.
Bye, Lee. Pete says bye. Thanks, Lee. We know that your time is short with us, but thanks a million for
no problem at all. I don't know what
happened
Lee. There, but listen, it's always a pleasure to come on. Good luck, you guys, for the rest of the season from Thursday onwards, and all the very, very best. And I hope you beat Liverpool on Saturday. No one likes to see a Liverpool defeat more than me. So enjoy. Come on. Thanks, guys.
Nice one, Lee.
Great show. Thanks for having me on. Take care.
Thanks, Lee, for coming to talk to me. Thank you. Cheers, Lee.
That has never happened before, has it? Ever?
No,
you can't hear certain people.
I do like the way.
Sorry,
I do like the way Pete has predicted that we're going to play Inter in a knockout because he switched the colours.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I switched the colours purely because with the red, which is the original colour that I wanted, I weren't sure if you could see it on the screen. That's why it was harder to read. But I'll put it back on just for just for the benefit of the tactics board. But great to have Leon. Always a great chat. He's one of them. Obviously, people won't know other than Daz and Chris and myself that like Lee's been in bed. He's not been well the last few days. He's been really ill, so he's literally got out of bed to come and do that show with us. So appreciate it always having him on. And yeah, one of our aims is, and to be fair, Lee said this to me just over Christmas. He was like, one of his aims is to come on a little bit more with us over the course of the season.
Cool.
And just talk football, really, generally, just whether it's European football, a bit of French football, and just come on and chat a little bit more with us. So hopefully we'll be able to do that in the weeks to come. Not necessarily transfer related, but it could be transfer related. Who knows? Not this month, not this month, but no. as we build for the summer.
In the summer,
boys, right. I know you're looking at their team, you're going, Jesus Christ, but we've got to get it done at some point.
We do.
So the Newcastle team is on the bottom. Who are you going for? Chris, you mentioned that there may be an element of change, or should be maybe an element of change. How are you seeing, or what do you think should be the lineup on Wednesday evening?
Yeah, this is a really hard one for me, boys, because I'm trying to put myself in the mind of Eddie Howe. Like, you know, players that are popping in my head, like Alanga, like Murphy, like Ramsey. And there's only one. Well, I say only one player. There's one particular player at the front that I think will definitely play. And it'll be interesting for you and Daz to critique, Pete, because I'm going to go with a lineup that I haven't done for a long time, and I'm going to pinch a formation off you, Pete. I know you talk about this formation quite a lot in previous shows, and I think this is what I may see Eddie Howe do on Wednesday. But anyway, I'll throw it out there, and then you boys tell me what you think. So, in goal will be Nick Pope.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I'm looking at that front three. I'm looking at that midfield three, and I'm thinking it's going to be a tough night. So, for me, I think that we do need to shore up at the back. Lee mentioned the previous game when Newcastle played PSG, and I remember Dan Burn having a colossal game, and I thought, you know, he was on the bench at the weekends. Is now the time to bring in Dan Burn? So, what I'm going to say is, don't worry, I'm not putting him left back.
Thank God.
yeah. Left wing back will be Lewis Hall.
Okay. Interesting already.
Yeah. Left wing back, Lewis Hall. Right wing back. Now, this will be interesting. For me, particularly... Oh, boys, there's been a goal. Leeds are beating Everton.
Are you not watching the game? You're not at the game?
No. Well, fully enough, our Callum and my brother-in-law are at the game. They went earlier, so they were buzzing. And he said to me, funnily enough, my brother-in-law, as he left the house, he went, "This is a typical game where you go with loads of enthusiasm and they're going to ruin my whole week." And it looks like they are ruining his whole week. Yeah, 1-0. James Justin has put Leeds 1-0 up.
I've just seen it now. These finished, to be fair.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, this one might surprise you, boys. Right wing back, and I'm thinking of Kieran Trippier playing 3 games on the bounce, which everyone thought was absolutely mental. I think it's going to be Jacob Murphy.
Oh,
yeah. I think Jacob Murphy is going to play right wing back. But bear with me on this.
Okay.
So, Dan Burn, left centre back.
Okay.
Sven Botman in the middle.
Big Sven.
And Malik Chow, right centre back.
Okay.
I think we've got to go far at the back. I really do. We're away. And I just want to see us mix it up as well, because I'm fed up of seeing the same rehashed thing. Because this 4-3-3, I genuinely think we could be torn apart if we go head to head, you know, against PSG. I think we'll be torn apart. So I think we have to go far at the back. Okay, midfield. I'm going to start on the right centre midfield, and I think it will be Bruno Guimaraes. I think Bruno will start.
Okay, Bruno. Oh, yeah.
In the holding position, I think it will be Sandro Tonali.
Okay.
Now, this one is a little bit more difficult. I mean, there's one person missing, and you probably all know who it is. I think he might go with Louis Miley on the left side of central midfield.
Interesting.
Now, up front, I think we're going to play with two. And you've said this a few times, Pete. I think we're going to play with two. And what I would like to see, Johan Visser rested for the game at Anfield. I think he should go with Nick Voltemade up front, with right next to him, buzzing around him, all around him, Anthony Gordon.
Okay.
A Champions League night for Anthony Gordon. And yes, people will say, where's Harvey Barnes? It's a great point. But again, I think with Harvey Barnes, I have one eye on Anfield. And that's not me being defeatist, but I think Anthony Gordon, you know, he shows his best form in the Champions League, let's be clear. And I don't think we'll see a front three, which is why Harvey Barnes has been sacrificed. And I'm asking for a lot from the likes of Lewis Hall, the likes of Jacob Murphy, up and down them wings to provide that wing play. And it'd be interesting for me as well, playing five at the back, seeing Lewis Hall, because we haven't seen Lewis Hall play left wing back for a long, long time. Because since Lewis Hall's came back in, he's played left back. And it would almost be a bit of a license to go and say to him, you just go forward. Dan Burns there. Louis Miley will tuck in behind. You just get up that field. So, yeah, I think that's what I would go for. That's personally what I would go for.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like it. What are your thoughts, Daz, on that?
Yeah, no, I like what Chris has done here, and it's very interesting. It'd be great to see that, but
I mean, it was so positive, Daz. It was so positive.
Yeah, I want
to just press the buzzer.
Yeah, because I hadn't thought of this kind of formation at all for this game, and I'm definitely willing to go down this way. But maybe we'll go back to something more familiar, because this is Eddie Howe.
Yeah,
I don't,
sure.
and you can. I think you can. What is the status of Jacob Murphy? Like, because he wasn't on the bench.
Was he not on the bench? I thought he was on the bench.
No,
was he not?
He's been rested, but I think from what Eddie Howe said, that he is close to being sort of reintegrated back into the team. That was in the build up to the Villa game. So I don't think he's far away. It'll either be Wednesday or be Saturday that I think he'll be back.
Okay. And I don't think we'll see Dan Burn for this one either. I think it might just come a bit too soon. I think we'll see him for Liverpool in some capacity though. I think. But so if it was just to make some changes, so going back to a 4-3-3, the Eddie Howe special, and so you can take Jacob Murphy, put him on the bench there, and you can take Dan Burn. Okay, so I'm putting Lewis Miley back as right back, not Kieran Trippier, and I'm putting because I'm KK there, and I'm putting Lewis Hall there on Desi Dure. So then Tonali, Bruno, and I'm putting Ramsey in there because we won't see Joe Linton. Mm-hmm. I know it's a big step up for Jacob Ramsey, but I don't know who else we can pick. Yeah. And I'm putting Gordon and Barnes. Gordon on the left, Barnes on the right. You know, the old familiar. And I'm putting Wisa. I'm putting Wisa in there as well instead of Big Nick.
Well, this just shows, doesn't it, boys? This just shows how much of a difficult call it's going to be for Eddie. Because you know that is vastly different, and obviously Pete, you're now going to critique as well. It's such a big call. It really is. I like that team, I like it.
I just think this is more what Eddie will do rather than, even though I'd rather see your formation. I'd be more interested again to watch your formation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll talk about this one first, and then I'll revert back to the one that you mentioned, Chris, because I think it is an interesting talking point. Looking at that formation there, I am not against it. I think Eddie Howe's kind of backed himself into a corner a little bit because he started Wisa in, I think, the last 3 games now, and he looked really tired yesterday. And it would be a big call to play him again, which will be like 3 or 4 games in a row now that he would have started. It's a big call to do that, and he does look tired. And I almost feel like he might need to go with Nick Voltemada in the team for that reason. So I think like he's going to have to play that game because I'll be honest, I think Jan Wisa should be playing away against Liverpool. I think he'd be the perfect foil for that. And he's someone that could absolutely, with his pace and his running, disrupt the likes of Van Dijk. So I would probably go with Nick Voltemada in this game. But there's a key to this, and I think why it could potentially work with playing Big Nick in this particular game. I think there's been a fundamental problem on this right-hand side for a while, or for the last few games, I should say. And it's this position here, not necessarily a player, but in particular, it's Harvey Barnes here. I've noticed in the last 2 games, Harvey Barnes hasn't played as well. He hasn't had a good game on that right-hand side. And the reason being he's been stuck here right on the byline. And that's not where we want Harvey Barnes to be. We want Harvey Barnes finding space in here and drifting into these pockets of space. But he's not been able to. And there's a reason for it, and it's our right back. So when we've had Trippier in at right back, so I'll put Trippier on here for argument's sake. When we have Trippier barely gets any further than here because he knows he ain't got the legs to get back. So he doesn't do what he did with Miguel Almiron when he was making overlapping runs into this area, and he was literally hugging this space here was literally Trippier's. Almiron used to be playing really high up here and drifting in. He can't do that anymore. He literally plays a lot of his football here because he knows he ain't got the legs to get back. And so what that does, it restricts Barnes' movement. Because when you've got Tino Livramento, for example, you know Tino Livramento will play in this little half space here. This space on the pitch is his. And he'll play and receive the ball there. So Barnes can almost play there. And that's where he can get in with Nick Voltemada. And that's where you saw against Leeds, for example, when he was drifting into those spaces. He knows he's got the license to, but he knows he can because he knows that if the ball does break, he's got a Livramento, for example, or a Miley to be able to get back there. And we'll put Miley in for argument's sake. And I've really noticed it. It's a big problem recently with that right-hand space. But Miley's got the running power to get back in. So we almost trust his right back to go, you know what, I can go drifting and try and get inside and in and around Nick Voltemada to cause some problems. So you suggesting that Miley either right back Daz or right wing back potentially, or on the right side of midfield, I don't know. Having Miley here is really key to allowing Barnes to be a little bit more more free. He's just free in his ability to roam. So I think that's really, really important. So I would absolutely take Trippier out of this game because I'm not being funny. How many years have we been talking about KK? This guy will kill him. He will literally kill Trippier. He'll end his career. He will. Like he'll want to retire after that game because Kvaratskhelia will have a field against Kieran Trippier. We need someone that's physical. We need someone that's got the running power to get back in, and we need someone that's good in the air. Like, so if they go long, he's got the height and the ability to win those little knock-ons in and around things. But we also need him to allow Barnes to get forward. So I've not got an issue with that team. However, if you're asking me what I would go for, I would absolutely go for the first option because it's the right option for this type of game. And I think it would allow... I'm moving on the wrong side. I think it would allow Newcastle to actually spring a bit of a trap on PSG. I actually think it would. It would spring like a real trap on them because I think what we need with this front three that we talked about with PSG, we need bodies. We need bodies to just get in the way and stop them being able to get in and do what they need to do. I would probably go something more like this, lads, and I'll take Barnes off for a second because I actually think that's not a bad lineup. And actually, even if Barnes didn't start quite easily, you just do a chop and change. You just take where's Barnes? You just swap Barnes for Gordon at 60 minutes, and Barnes. Yeah, like for like in terms of this style. But Barnes can also play as a forward. Remember, he can drift onto the left, but drift forward. And I actually think that's a position that we haven't explored a lot. What I was going to do, lads, is something a little bit different. I would that for me would be the team. If we're going to set this formation up, this would be the team that I would go for. If I'm being honest,
yeah,
like that is absolutely the team that I would go for. However,
Pete, just before you move on and you change that, I just want to make a comment on this, and it was something touched on before. The key to this formation, in my opinion, and this is what we don't always see in this recent Newcastle team. You need, if you're going to play with those two wing backs, it can be perceived as being quite negative, can't it? But what you need from those wing backs, you need to trust your back three. Those wing backs need to kick on, and you need to trust Bain, Botman, and Chow. You need them to be high up the pitch, not too high, but higher up the pitch. You know, probably about where Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, and Doué are. You push them up, and yes, creating a bit of an offside trap is a danger, particularly against that kind of pace. But the more that you press and you squeeze the pitch, it will give them less time and space, particularly in that number 10 area, because that's where it kills us. That's what Villa did. Villa have got the two inverted wingers, and they're even more inverted wingers because they're not natural wingers. And you had Morgan Rogers pulling in from the left, and you had Emi Buendia pulling in from the right, and they operated in that 10 space. Now, if we played with the 5 at the back or the 3 at the back, if they pushed forward and occupied that space, Villa wouldn't have had the time or the space to play in those zones. They just wouldn't. And that's why I'd love to experiment and see that and have Lewis Hall asking questions of the left back, Zaire Emery in this case, or Louis Miley, whoever it may be, asking questions of Nuno Mendes. That's what we need to do with this formation if we were to do it.
No, I think that's a fair point, because if you're looking at Lewis Hall getting in to Zaire Emery, you've got Ramsey that were just sitting here.
Yeah.
So anything on the transition, he sits in here and does his job. And then you'd almost expect, if Miley was doing that Bruno, and if Bruno's up here creating a triangle between these three, for example, you've got Sandro that will come in here and be the recovery guy.
And you've got Voltemade, Pete, loving it. You've got Voltemade loving it because he's got players in and around him. He needs players in and around him.
Okay.
It's what he absolutely needs. He needs players in and around it, which is why I would go with this. I think the formation that Daz put up, I think that's the one that will be the formation and quite possibly the team that will be picked. But this is the one that I would go for, because I think this would be the one that asks a different question of PSG. It would throw them off from what they've probably been preparing for. They're preparing for a 4-3-3, high intensity, high press, and can we get in behind Sandro Tonali and the midfield three on the counter, on the transition? Just exactly what Villa did. Can we do that to them? Right, but this here is going, right, break us down, but we've got the pace of Hall on the counter and the ball carrying of Hall. We've got Miley running forward. We've got Big Nick and Barnes that are in and around each other that can make intelligent runs. Or more likely, you've got the running power of Gordon in and behind from a central area. So you're asking a different question. So I would absolutely do that. But I went for a different formation. Now this is maybe more of an expansive. I'm thinking an expansive type formation. So for 1 second, I don't think that it won't necessarily be picked, but I would be looking at this not just for PSG, but for us moving forward. This is what I would
4-2-3-1.
Absolutely. So this is what I would be looking for personally. This is what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
This is what I'll be doing in the game. It's asking a question of our midfield, and it's asking them to play a different role. So you're not going to see Bruno up here. You're not going to see Bruno up here and then having to get back. You're asking these two to do what Onana and Tielemans did. Create from deep, but sit in and ensure there's no transitions. Anytime there's a transition, we've got two midfielders there to break it down. Let Barnes drift in and give Vitinha a question in this area here. Get him in and around Voltemada, right? Get Gordon running from central areas like Morgan Rogers did, not out here on the touchline that's easily marked. Get him inside here on the ball and get him running inside the channels. And Elanga doing the same. And to be fair to Elanga, he did that when he came on against Villa, and he caused them a few problems because he weren't out here. He weren't out here making runs on the wide. He was coming inside and running inside the fullback and the centre back, and they couldn't handle him for a 10-minute spell, and because he was making those runs. And it's asking a different question. Now, again, I'll stress, I don't believe that they'll go with that, but for me, this is a formation that I believe Newcastle United get the best out of him again.
Yeah.
And I think Barnes can play that role. I actually think Gordon could play that role too. Yeah. But I think Barnes could play that role. And who's to say that they can't interchange during the game?
Could alternate.
Yeah. And that you see that happen. And yes, they're not traditional number 10s, neither of them, but they're forward players. Barnes is absolutely a forward player, and so is Gordon. And they can play in and around, and they can drift. And it's almost like, you know, Ali talked about these three here. They're fluid. So they'll start like that, but you'll see this during the game, and you'll see this during the game. And they're very fluid in their motions, but there's no reason why any one of 1, 2, and 3 can't drift during the game. And Elanga end up there, Barnes end up there, Gordon switches throughout, and it looks like that at different parts of the game. There's no reason why these guys can't be fluid in their motion. And what it is,
and the beauty is you've got Voltemada who can drop into that 10.
Exactly.
You could even see Barnes popping up there.
Exactly. There. So he makes the run, he holds up the ball. Barnes is then making in and runs in and behind, or you got Gordon or you got Elanga, and he's the one that's the one that I genuinely think, lads. And look, I'm bringing this up now for the PSG game. Now, I'm stressed again for the third time. I don't think they'll even look at this style of play. But I watched Villa dominate us on the transitions, not necessarily with the ball or possession, but on the transitions. I watched them dominate us, and I'm looking at the players, and I'm thinking their players aren't miles better than us. Then they've not got players that are miles better than us, but they've got a system that works. It's effective, and it plays to the strengths of all of their players. So we need to find a way of this work. It gives Barnes a free role to get in the box and get into goal-scoring opportunities. It provides support for Nick Voltemada, so he's not completely isolated. He's got someone there with him, and it allows Gordon to be a little bit more free and make those inside runs. Elanga the same. And what it does, it makes us more of an attacking threat, particularly on the transition. So if you've got Tonali doing his recovery runs, and you've got Bruno winning the ball back in those deep positions and getting those balls forward quickly on the transition, Villa played a lot of long balls up high and over the top, and it asked a lot of questions at Newcastle. We've got players who can make those passes in those transitions. Can we make it almost, you split that pitch down the middle right now where the halfway line is, and you're always making it into a 2.5 game. You're asking those 3 midfielders to handle those 3 forwards in Newcastle United, and then you're asking the 2 centre-backs to deal with Nick Voltemada. But equally, we're saying if you're going to engage here, we've got 2 centre midfielders that are going to deal with you on both sides. And it's just asking a question. It's splitting the game in half. And I think it makes it more difficult for PSG. But that's
I'd like to see this in practice in a game. Obviously, as you said, not PSG, but because it might be the only way that Nick Voltemada would work in a 9. He's back to goal, and he's kind of like a playmaker. 1-2 is off with any of the 3 there. it would be interesting to see it in practice.
I really hope that even if we don't see it against PSG, which I don't think, I really hope we see it in the next few games. Maybe see it at Anfield. Liverpool defensively are not good. They're not good defending transitions either. Teams can counterattack them. You only have to look at Burnley's equalising goal, just a transition counterattack. They can't deal with it. Van Dijk struggles. You look at the Bournemouth game, he struggles on the transitions. When they counter, Liverpool struggle at the moment. Can we use that formation to really get at Liverpool and ask some questions and potentially, fingers crossed, take the lead and ask them a different question? Rather than just always going 1-0 down and having to fight back at Anfield like we do numerous times. Can we ask them a question and do something a little bit different? I'd really like to see this because look, Nick Voldemort is a quality player, right? He's a quality player. But we are not doing enough to get people around him to give him the opportunity to be successful at Newcastle United. We're just not. So...
I just want to see something different. I don't want to see that 4-3-3. I agree with you, Daz. It's most likely that is probably what we're going to see. But I just want to see something different where, we're trying something, and especially with Nick Voldemort as well. If we're playing Nick Voldemort through the middle, which I believe we will, then, let him drop deep. Have someone in and around him. Have your wingers positioned more centrally. Put them more central and pose those questions like you were saying, Pete. That's what you want to see, because having them on the touchline, the amount of times I've seen Anthony Gordon pick up the ball on the touchline and he stands to play it up, he looks like he's going to go, he goes to go, and then he cuts back inside and plays a simple pass. It's like, I'm done with that now. I'm done with it. I need to see something different.
Yeah, definitely. We need to maximise their quality in different ways. We have to.
The results of the poll is in. We had 74 votes, and it got closer since we were talking. But 38% for a win for a win against Man City to take enough to take us into the League Cup final. Doesn't say anything about winning it, just getting us to the final. 31% said PSG, just so we'd avoid those last two. We qualified top 8 and avoid those next 2 games. The knockouts, and 31% equally same said Liverpool pay back for the summer and a win at Anfield. It's tough.
Yes. Interesting.
So people found it tough, just as tough as we did then.
Yeah.
What's the odds, Chris, on all 3?
Oh, mate, imagine. Imagine winning all 3 of them games, Jesus Christ. Although, ironically, it would make me laugh because, yes, I'd be made up with, top 8 of Champions League. Yes, I'd be made up to go to another Carabao Cup final. But then I'd also be thinking, bloody hell, 1 win in the Premier League. Imagine winning 3 Premier League games on the bounce right now. That for me would just be...
permanent sunglasses in the winter.
Permanent.
It'd be a shades party. It'd be a shades party. That's for sure. But boys, we're coming to the end of the match preview. Been a great match preview actually. The Champions League. It's been nice to talk about something a little bit different and look forward to. I think as good as their squad is. But predictions, lads. What are honest predictions? What are we? I say honest predictions. Are we thinking head or are we thinking heart in our predictions? Chris, I'll come to you first. What are you thinking, mate? You think
I'd love to predict a win. I would love.
What are you going for then? What are you thinking?
Oh. Did you give your answer, Chris?
Can you hear me?
What's happening? So he paused. He's blinking.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I here? Yeah. No, Pete, I couldn't hear what Pete was saying, so I just assumed it had paused, and I thought, I'll wait a moment. Oh, yeah, Pete's hands moving. Brilliant. Pete, I didn't hear any of that. You went dead robotic. Didn't hear anything.
No, I just said that. I said, are we going head or heart? What's your feeling and what's your prediction?
Oh, mate, I would love, love to be able to confidently say, yeah, I fancy a win. But I just, on the basis that it's going to be an incredibly difficult game and it's away and it's against the current holders of the Champions League, and they need to win. And I think we'll go 4-3-3. I'm going to say 2-0 PSG. I really don't want to, but that is just genuinely. I mean, ask me again when I see the lineup, but I think it will be 4-3-3, and I think we're just going to see the same thing again. And I'm going to be like, oh my god, yeah. So I'm going to say 2-0. I'm going to say 2-0.
2-0. Daz, head or heart, or what you can only pick one. What you go for?
I'm going with heart, and I'm going just because the way Lee built it up, how PSG have rested players and everything like that. It's like, screw you, PSG. Louis Miley 1-0 Newcastle win for payback for the handball 2 years ago. That's what I'm going for. All heart. Go for it.
All heart. You and Jeff Barlow the same. Oh, sorry, Chris.
Yeah, same.
You and Jeff Barlow in the same. In the same. I'm gonna go down the middle, lads. I'm gonna go. My head, we lose 3-1. My heart, I can't even with my heart, I can't even give us a win. And I feel bad because I'm normally the positive one. I'm gonna go a 1-1 draw. Ooh. And extend in the lap of the gods, because that's 14 points, and then I hope that other teams don't get wins and we manage to sneak in. It's looking very unlikely, but I'm gonna go.
What is interesting about the draw as well, Pete? I was going to ask this earlier, but I thought it might go down a bit of a different path. But I was going to ask, what are the implications of a draw? Because I'm assuming a draw is arguably no good for either team, because you're then leaving it, as you say, in the lap of the gods.
Open.
Yeah. So the odds of a draw, I would imagine, are probably quite slim, aren't they? Because both teams would just go, come on, one of us has got to win this. We've got to just go for it.
That's why it's going to be, I think, a really frantic game, because both teams know they have to win. If they like, a win is really that. I mean, I don't know the fixtures actually. What are the fixtures of the games on Wednesday?
There's so many like this.
I know we're meant to wrap, but
18 games all at the same time.
I tell you what, I won't, because I will obviously watch the Newcastle game, but I would love to watch, the goal show. That'd be class. That'd be class, because obviously we have 18 live games and they go straight to the game and you can see the goal. I do love that show. I think it's great. But so in the league table, so a point will put PSG on 14, a point will put us on 14, but there's so many teams. I mean, all the way down to Dortmund in 16th. Dortmund in 16th could finish on 14 points if they win.
Now, just even before we get started. So if we got a draw and Tottenham lost, we actually go ahead of Tottenham, who are 5th. Both PSG and Newcastle would go ahead of Tottenham on goal difference, because our goal difference is better. So, and we've scored more goals as well. So that in itself could be a lifeline. Chelsea are away at Napoli, so no easy game, and they're 8th on 13.
Pete, read out the teams who are in and around us, and I'll tell you the fixture.
Yeah. So Chelsea are in 8th. They've got Napoli that I just mentioned. Barcelona are in 9th.
Barcelona are at home to Copenhagen.
So they're likely to win. So that'll put them in there. So that's one place.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're hoping that Tottenham lose. Who are Tottenham got?
Tottenham are playing Frankfurt away. Okay.
So who knows with that one? So throw those ones into that conversation. Sporting. I mean, Sporting are 10th. Yeah.
Sporting are playing Bilbao away.
Bilbao away.
They have something
to
play for.
Bilbao out?
No, they're 23rd. They're not out.
So they're right in the
So
mix.
they'll be fighting for the top 24, won't they?
Yeah.
Mm.
They're in the top 24. They want to stay in that.
They want to stay in that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Man City.
Man City are at home to Galatasaray.
So you did expect them to win, although they did lose to Leverkusen at home, so not out the realms of possibility.
There's only 4 teams that are completely out: Frankfurt, Slovenia Prague, Villarreal, and Karat.
Yeah. So everyone else is fighting for something.
Has something to fight for, yeah.
Right, 17th. Yeah. Could go into the top half of the seeded section. Win.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid.
Atletico Madrid are at home to Bodo Glimt.
So that's one way you think that's a nailed on. Yeah. So you're looking at that. Atalanta.
Atalanta are. Where's Atalanta? Oh, they're away to Union Saint Gilloy.
Okay.
Galoy.
When anything like us, they'll tuck them away nicely and win that one. So it's looking like 14 might not be enough with the expected wins. What about Inter? Who have Inter got?
Inter are playing Dortmund away. That's a tasty fixture.
They're neck and neck. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
And Juve?
Juve have Monaco away.
Oh, so not an easy game either.
No.
So there's a few really tricky fixtures in there for a few of the teams that are from 9th to 15th, so 16th. Interesting. So with everything to play for, even the teams that you expect to be kind of losing or to win. Like I was looking at Copenhagen. Copenhagen can still qualify for the knockouts. For the knockout stage, they're still fighting. So it's not like they're gonna.
Exact same as Napoli.
Yeah. So they're not just gonna sit down against Barca, although you'd expect Barca to win. But
boys, have we? I've just sent a redirect to 12th man. Have we a message for a 12th man audience as our panel as we send people their way?
Oh, what can we say? What can we say?
It's Billy on. Screw you, Billy.
Let's see who's on. Let's see who's on. Who's on?
He is on, yeah.
Look at Billy. There he is. Billy, Wolfie, Evel, Charlie, and Deji.
Do I have to do this, really?
Or should we just say, can we do hashtag at least we're not spares?
Yeah. or hashtag relegate Spurs. Let's do that.
Let's go to that one. So, right.
Yeah. Let's do. Or do we?
You're trying.
In the Liverpool game, do we do Screw Isaac or something like that? Just the one to
Isaac Derby.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to do with Isaac. Hashtag where is Isaac?
Let's go that one. Hashtag where is Isaac?
Hashtag where is Isaac? Go on, let's do that.
Like it.
Hashtag where is Isaac?
Could Pete? Could you switch back to the loaded tab for a second?
Yes, we can.
Oh, weird. My tab's gone as well. Oh yeah, no, it's there. Today I can see it.
Oh, hold on. Do you want it? You got it?
No,
I can find it. Is it the loaded one?
I didn't mean for it.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. So the hashtag where is Isaac? Right. That is it. Thanks a million to Lee for joining us. Great preview. and hype the show as well. Hype. Do you want the hype music?
Oh yeah, I love the hype music.
Where is it? Here it is. Turn it up.
Hyper.
Right, we'll play out with the Bruno because he has to play. He has to play for us to stand any chance in this one. See you on the next one. Have a good evening. Good luck, Pete.
Cause sooner or later in life, the things you love, you lose. But you've got the love I need to see me through. You got the love, you got the love.